They say that the ocean is big. Believe me, I would know. For me, it's always stretched to the horizon, where the water meets the fog. And as much as I love it, it's so empty. I've always spent my life by the tide pools on the shorelines. So, being in the middle of the ocean where there's no sand or anything is quite jarring. Though I guess I could fix that. That being said, hello friends, and welcome to Fishtale. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Fishtale, for me, is going to be a really big passion project because hopefully in this series we are going to be recreating the lovely world of Strandville, but inside of the game Minecraft, of course. And if you are at all curious what Strandville is, that is the name of an archipelago from the absolutely amazing game Wavetale, which I will be doing my very best to reimagine here inside of our lovely world. Now, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to follow the story of Wavetale, but I will be trying to make one up as I go. And oh, did I mention that we're starting in the middle of an ocean? This is practically Skyblock, but we're in the middle of the water instead. I've never done this before, but it's very exciting. Oh my gosh. That being said, welcome everybody to Fishtale. Genuinely, I don't know what I'm doing. There's not much to see around here, I'll be honest. So I guess really the first thing that we're supposed to do here is maybe we definitely need to start looking for a shipwreck, I imagine, to be the first thing that we need, right? Because we need wood, and there's no trees for many thousands of blocks in each direction, which is going to be the struggle of this series. That's why I've decided I wanted to do this, because A, I really love the ocean, and B, I really love Skyblock. So we're gonna be trying not to die, first off, and I've just made a really big discovery. Apparently it's the shaders that are making it very difficult to see underwater. So, for the time being, I've turned them off while I'm under here. But we've immediately found a shipwreck, so we're gonna go over there and see if we can find anything good inside. First chest we opened had a bunch of paper and a buried map, which is not helpful in this world at all, given that the nearest buried treasure is probably many thousands upon thousands of blocks away. So, definitely not that. But our second chest we opened, however, was better than any treasure we could have possibly found in this world, because we got a bunch of bamboo, which we can use as a wood source as long as we can get it to grow somewhere. So maybe we can start collecting up some like dirt blocks or something and then try and pillar upwards so we can make a little island. I'm not really sure, but I do know that that's what I want my starter base to be in this world. A little tiny little piece of an island. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I really just want somewhere where I can do my fishing, and that's it. It's gonna be such a long road of resource gathering and farm making and stuff that I really just want it to be as simple as possible for the first episode. This isn't simple. This is bad. My bamboo. No. Oh no. No. We're fine. Everything's fine. And so, I think our adventure truly begins at this point. So right now, I've given myself 2 goals. The first one, of course, being to go and get a whole bunch of wood from the shipwrecks under the water so that we can make ourselves a couple of boats and, of course, a couple of tools and stuff as well. You know, the regular beginner Minecraft stuff. And then after that, we are going to go and collect as many emeralds as we possibly can from all the different shipwrecks that we can find. Because, if you didn't know, inside of the game, there are these little villagers that spawn called wandering traders. And there's a possibility that these wandering traders can spawn with saplings available for trade, but it costs a bunch of emeralds. And depending on the sapling, I could need up to 4 of them to be able to plant 1 tree. So that's my goal right now. We are going to be sailing around looking for as many emeralds as we possibly can, while also trying not to die, because the amount of drowns in this game are insane. I hadn't quite clocked that would be a big problem in this world, being that it's all an ocean. So that was a whoops on my end. And now, with one boat in our possession, we are good to get started on looking for all these different emeralds that we need, which is, I'm hoping, not gonna be too many. I'm gonna say, well, we're gonna go for maybe 20 could be a good starting point for how many we need. I don't know exactly how many I'll need, but I know some of the wandering traders sold them for 4 each. I'll figure it out as I go. And if you are at all curious why it's so important to me to get some of these saplings, it is because I do have a very, very specific base and world that I need to build, and I'm gonna need probably every single tree in the whole game, and I am not traveling 20, 30, 40,000 blocks to one biome. No, thank you. I'm staying right here, thank you very much. So if I can get the saplings from the traders, that is lovely. And we have already been to one of the ships. I think I might have included that clip already, but this is all we've got from there. I took all the wood, and the little armory room had a bunch of iron and stuff, so I made a little axe as well. That was quite helpful. But yeah, we've got a lot of emerald collecting to do. However, before we do that, I just wanted to give you all just a glimpse at what it is I had planned for this series, on top of recording and building and creating the entire world of Wavetale inside of Minecraft, of course. I'm a fisherman. I'm a fishmonger. I'm a fisherman at heart, and fishing is my passion for these videos. If there's no fishing, then there's no videos. So I don't know how long this series is going to go on for. Probably quite a long time. That being said, I think my goal for this series is going to be 300,000 fish. And if you're not new to the channel, you'll recognize that number as being the amount of fish that I caught in my last series, Fishcraft, which was very fun. However, I think something has clicked in my brain recently, and it might have been all of the Skyblock Kingdoms fishing that I did before, but fishing has been so much fun for me, and it feels so much easier being able to do more extreme numbers within a week. Because I did do like 120 hours of fishing in 1 week once for the Skyblock Kingdom fishing. So yeah, I feel like that did something to my brain, and now fishing just feels a lot easier. So I am going to be hopefully doing, on top of all of my building and stuff, a lot more fishing than I did regularly before. So hopefully this series, at the very, very, very least, 300,000 fish. And maybe I could double that. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is I really want to go fishing, which is what I'm working up towards. So while I am doing all my emerald collecting and waiting for the wandering traders and stuff to finish, I will be fishing. However, I also am a pacifist, so it's gonna be difficult. I can only find the fishing rods through the little ocean. The ocean temple things where you find all the drowns and stuff at, the little islands underwater. Oh, there we go. Like those things right there. You can only get fishing rods from inside of those. Since I can't hurt any spiders, so you'll have to bear with me a while. Oh no. This is an ocean monument. I mean, just beep, 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 beep. Back it up. No ocean monuments for me, thank you. We need these little guys, the ruins. I wonder if it would be beneficial as well to make... I might need to make a pickaxe as well. Oh, a shovel. That's what I was meant to do. Yeah, we'll make a shovel and stuff very quick. So it'll help us dig out the sand and stuff easier. All right, well, good thing we got this door. That's quite helpful. We'll check... Oh, here we go. Hello. Oh, wait a second. What? Is that normal? This is 2 chests on top of each other. Huh? Huh? And it's got emeralds in here as well? That's crazy. Let's go. We got emeralds as well. Yes. A mending fishing rod. Who needs anything else? Oh, man. Oh, I'm so happy. Let's go. We got our fishing rod as well. Wow. I wonder why why was there double chests in here? That's weird. I've never seen that before. All right, well, I guess we can we can start heading back up. Oh my gosh, we are so deep in the water. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy that I have the deeper oceans. The deeper oceans in this world. We do have 4 emeralds. That's pretty good. We don't need any of this stuff though, so I am just gonna drop all of these things that I don't need anymore. I think we're off to go find some more emeralds and stuff. 2 seconds. And welcome back from the lovely little time lapse. We now officially have 22 emeralds, which was like 4 or 5 different shipwrecks that had the treasure rooms in them. And look at all this other stuff we got. Wow, there's so many things here. I don't even know what to do with them really. But all I know is that I'm finally able to do some fishing. However, before I do that, I do need to make a tiny platform to fish on top of. Which means we're gonna need some dirt. So I've got to jump straight back to the bottom of the ocean and mine up some stuff so that I can start pillaring it upwards. And then we will have a lovely little platform to stand on top of. And maybe we can make that our starter base, or like, you know, the starting platform rather, like you would see normally in a little like a skyblock thing. So that's what we're gonna do very quickly. Gotta go mine some dirt. However, I did want to do it at 0-0 so that if I died, I would just spawn. I'd respawn right on top of my island, so that no matter what I do, I will feel safe, kind of, or at least as safe as you can be in these waters where there's at least 1,000 drowned at all times. Beep 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 beep. And ta-da! Our very first platform. Wow. It feels like the moon landing thing. One small step for man, one big step for humanity, or something like that. That being said, I have a lot of fishing I have to do. So I think I'm going to give myself one entire week to do as much fishing as I want, and maybe a couple of those days will be spent designing the starter base, which is just going to be a very, very tiny tiny little baby island, which doesn't probably look much like a starter base from you know, scale perspective, but that is totally fine with me because it's the island in Wavetale that I feel like is the most special to me, outside of course the night orchard, but that's for a later date. That is for a much later date. Oh my goodness. That is going to take so many different resources and like a million different terracottas. It is going to be rough, and don't even get me started on the mushroom blocks. For some reason I decided to use mushroom blocks as the sand in this world. So hopefully wandering traders have mushrooms, but I don't think they do. So eventually we're gonna have to work our way to the Nether to get some mushrooms and stuff. Anyway, I've been talking a lot. I've got some fishing I need to do. So without further ado, let us just jump straight into the very first piece of fishing that we're gonna do in this world. Woo! Wait a second! I completely forgot. Pretty much every single series I've had before this, I keep on forgetting to save my very first fish that I catch. I've done it wrong every single time, and I've remembered this time. Thank goodness. Alright, we're just gonna do one single fish catch, and we're gonna see what we get. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Come on. Yes. Our very first fish, and it is a lovely salmon. Of course it is. They're so beautiful. Oh, I love them. Our very first salmon, or our very first fish even. This is maybe the worst possible use of early game iron I have ever seen, but I do not care. No, I don't have enough experience. Hold on. Yeah. Yes. There we go. Ta-da! Our very first fishy. Oh, they're beautiful. Wow. Okay, now we're good to get started on our fishing and stuff. Welcome back from the lovely fishing time lapse. I don't think I've stopped fishing in the last 24 hours. I'm very tired, but I am also very excited. I just wanted to pop in and leave a little note before we jump back into our fishing. I might have messed up a little bit in my, I underestimated how many different resources it would take for our little starter island that we have planned. And it's not that the island is very big. I mean, it is pretty big for being a small island, and it takes a lot of resources. But that's not the problem. The problem, unfortunately, is that I chose I chose so many different blocks to use, and it's just because I've been trying to color match the game Wavetale, and there's lots of like purples and lots of blues and oranges and stuff in the shading of the game. So a lot of the shading and the texturing I do has a lot of those colors in it, which unfortunately for me are not easy to get. Like I need mostly it's gonna be brown mushroom blocks because they've got like a purplish kind of hue to them, and a whole bunch of crimson wood and purple terracotta, pink terracotta, stuff like that, just for like a little tiny piece of an island. And that is mostly because a lot of the kelp inside of the game Wavetale, it's all purple. Like it's got like a little purple, little pinkish, little kind of hue to it. Which is why, if you'll notice, I have this purple strand on my arm there. It's because that is supposed to be kelp. It was originally green, but then I went through and I recolored it to be the proper color. And if you haven't noticed already, this is the 3D model that we'll be using throughout the series as our lovely fishing rod. It is actually the main hand weapon from Wavetale, which is used by Sigrid, called the Spark Net, and I love it so much. I've had this model in my back pocket now for well over a year, and I'm so glad I finally get to use it. I've been holding onto it for so long, and I was originally going to use it in one of my older series called Fishcraft, but I really wanted to keep it separate from that series since I already had a fishing rod for that one. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in from the fishing to say that in between our fishing and stuff, we are going to be doing a bunch of resource collecting because this island it's going to take a bunch of weird stuff, like I mentioned. So the thing I'm mostly worried about is the brown mushrooms. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Genuinely, I don't know how I'm going to get a bunch of different mushroom blocks this early on, and I can't get any wandering traders to spawn. I've been waiting 24 hours for wandering trader. What day is it? It's been 42 days, and I haven't got a single wandering trader yet. But I did have to switch it to peaceful mode, unfortunately. Because I unfortunately have not been able to get any wool. Actually, I didn't even think about that. So I just was constantly getting attacked by phantoms, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So I am temporarily in peaceful mode until I can afford to make my own wool from all of the string that I get from fishing, which I am almost there, by the way. I only need like 2 or 3 more pieces of string before I have all the different wool blocks I need. Yeah, there we go. We just need 1, 2, 3, and then boom, we can make ourselves a lovely bed. Goodness, how many fish have I caught today? Let me, fish, 2,448 fish caught today. That's pretty good. But we have a lot more fishing to do and a lot more resource collecting, because I think I've even got to go to the Nether for some of the stuff that I need. So we're just gonna get right back into fishing now. And welcome back once again from the big ol' fishing time lapse. But I've got a bit of a confession to make. I got a little distracted. It's been 6 days of fishing. I've been fishing for 6 days. Well, okay, that was a lie. It hasn't been all fishing. I've been doing resource collecting and everything. So we've made a lot of progress. So on the in-between of the clips and everything, I have been all over this world. So I've traveled 7,000 blocks in each direction just to see if I could find any piece of like landmass or like a continent or anything, and there was nothing. There's nothing around here. I genuinely, there's nothing in this world. I mean, there's probably something somewhere, just not anywhere close. Yeah, so this has been a struggle trying to gather resources for things, especially since it has been 156 days. It's been 156 days, and we have had 1 wandering trader spawn, just 1, and all they had was some purple dye and some red mushrooms. No saplings at all. So this has been very rough. And I've been relying solely on the bamboo. Although I did find a very tiny little piece of an island in the water that had an oak sapling. So we've got one of those around here somewhere. But I don't need any oak. I don't need oak at all. On the bright side though, I have been also to the Nether on the in-between. I found a very lovely ruined portal in the water that was very nearly completed. So I went and I found a couple pieces of obsidian inside of the chests nearby, and we managed to fully complete the portal. So we've got one about 1,000 blocks that direction. But yeah, don't make portals at the bottom of the ocean when they are this deep. Because you have to make like a little chamber tube going from the bottom all the way to the top where it's drained out so that you can actually stand in it. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I've been collecting as many resources as I possibly can for this lovely little starter base so that I can hopefully have a better place to do my fishing and stuff. So this is what we've got so far. We've got some crimson stem, because I did make it to the Nether, which is where I got these brown mushrooms from. The only problem I'm having now with getting my starter base made is that I really need green dye because I need a bunch of cyan dye and also magenta dye. And I don't remember why I needed green dye for those, but it's in there somewhere. So that's my limiting factor right now. Now I'm just waiting for the wandering traders to spawn, and in 157 days, I've only gotten one. So my luck is not very good. So I might just have to substitute the blocks for just for right now, just temporarily. But anyway, we've been very busy collecting resources and exploring and doing Nether stuff in the background while I've been fishing. So I've got a little bit of the resources I need for my island, but I do very want to start on building it. So we've got a little bit of sand, which I need to turn into sandstone, which definitely isn't going to be enough. But it's okay. I'll work with whatever I have currently. And I've got a little bit of deep slate, of course, from just doing some regular strip mining. I did ignore any of the other resources, though. I really don't care about diamonds. Like, I'm fine with using iron and copper tools for quite a while, honestly. And then we have the crimson stem from when we went to the Nether. So that's what we've got so far, and we've got a lot of work to do. Oh, and also new hunger bars. Check those out. Got a little scallop seashell from Wavetale, which was a little necklace. I thought that was pretty fun. So let's just jump straight into getting some buildings done. Or sand? Build. Let's just build. Here we are, right on top of our lovely little tiny starter island. Now, I know I did say it before, but this island was very much meant to be on the smaller side, at least for to start with, because I genuinely don't have the time for making big builds or gathering all the different wood types that I need. In the 181 days of playing in this world so far, have only seen one wandering trader, which is very bad. I need more. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or maybe my luck just is not as good as it used to be in my other worlds, but goodness gracious, I'm having no luck at all in getting new wood types. And you know, after like 60,000 blocks of traveling around in the ocean in a boat, I don't know what else to do. I guess it's like I said in the intro, we are very much in the middle of the ocean, and that's it. There's nothing. There's no beaches, no sand. Oh, I miss the sand. It is very weird now being in a world where there's just no sand at all. After playing in regular worlds pretty much my entire life, there's no sand. There's no sandstone. There's no nothing. I can't imagine how this would go in Skyblock, having to get all these other different blocks as well. This does feel very limiting, living in the ocean like this. However, I know it's not as bad as Skyblock by a long shot, but it certainly still is. It is lovely, and I cannot be more happy being out here in the middle of the ocean on our lovely little island that we've just made, doing the two things that I love most in this world, recording and fishing, because I have now only a few hours left of the day, so I think I'm gonna do a little bit more fishing before I wrap things up here. And this has certainly been a productive first episode. I'm almost glad that I chose brown mushroom blocks as the sand here, because it's actually a little easier to get than regular sand. Like if I had used brown mushroom blocks for this entire build, I probably could have got it done already. But no, the whole bottom of it is supposed to be sandstone, just so that I can see it while it's underwater. I know that usually you would go from lighter to darker, but since I'm color matching a visual reference, the colors above water are much more purpley and brown hues. If I use anything underwater, then you're not gonna be able to see it, right? So that's why I use sandstone for down here. I think it looks lovely, with of course like the cobbled deep slate rocks that are like almost grabbing the sand. It is very cool. And I have tried my best to remain true to the game. And this island still is not even close to being done. I've got like a big, I don't even know what it's called, like a metal support beam that I've got to put around this side. It kind of looks like a bit of scaffolding, but I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I've still got to do that and then also extend it all the way to the ground. But I will have to do that in the next episode because we've got some fishing that we need to do. Well, I mean, I say the next couple of hours, but I've really only got about 1 hour, and then I've got to edit all of this down again. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, with that, I think I have just about, unfortunately, run out of time for today's video. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you all so much, and I guess I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.